All right. Well, it's Friday, which means that I'm live. So here we go. Hey, one of the questions that a lot of people have is, are habits good or bad? So let me pose that out to you. What do you think? Are habits good or are they bad? Now, I'm going to get in and answer that question here in just a minute. Now, as with always, if you're on with me live, make sure and put something in the comments section so that I know that you're here. And especially too, because I know sometimes I can't see who's here or if you're actually here. Sometimes there's a little delay in the comments. So if you're here with me live, put your name in as well. Let me know because sometimes it comes through as like LinkedIn user. Well, LinkedIn user, I don't know who you are. So here we go. So are habits good or bad? Well, let's think about those two words by themselves, okay? Good versus bad. Now, for most people, the word good and the word bad have a lot of stories attached to it. And so what does that mean? Well, is something good or is it bad? Well, most of the time we have a story about that because of what we have been told. Okay? What we have been programmed to believe is either good or bad. Okay? So let me give you an example. Let's take divorce as an example. Well, is divorce something that is good or is it bad? Now, a lot of people would say divorce is bad, right? Because that's what we've been taught. You get married, you just stay married, you don't get divorced, right? I was told that that's what you do. Well, I got divorced. Does that mean that it's good that I got divorced or bad that I got divorced? Well, I don't know. For some people, right, it might be bad to get divorced. For other people, it might be exactly the right thing that they need to do. So it might be something that is good. Okay, so instead of asking, are habits good or bad, because there's a lot of negativity and a lot of stories and beliefs that are charged with those two words, instead of thinking about whether habits are good or bad, what if you started saying, does that habit still serve me? Is that a habit that would serve me? Okay. And I'm going to explain to you in just a minute what that actually means. But one of the reasons, again, why I don't necessarily like to use the word good or bad, especially when it comes to habits, is a lot of times we only think about bad habits, right? That's what we think about, or what people perceive to be bad habits. So, for example, if you bite your nails, right, and you can't stop biting your nails, a lot of people will say, well, that's a bad habit. Okay. Now, instead of thinking of it as a bad habit, what if it was, does this serve me or not? Right. So again, if you're feeling compulsion to bite your nails and you don't want to bite your nails, then maybe that no longer serves you. And so that's a habit that you should stop. Okay. Now, if you never cut your nails and the only way that you cut your nails is by biting your nails, maybe that's a good habit, right? Because again, imagine if you never cut your nails, you'd have these big old long curly things coming out here, right? So maybe not think about habits that way. Or like I said, when a lot of people think about habits, they only think about bad habits. And so because of that, they think, oh, well, I don't have a problem with that. Well, what if actually habits were something that was very good and there's something that actually serve you? In fact, they do. Okay. Because what we find is that you don't get what you want in life, you get your habits. You get those things that we consistently do. And so there are things that you want to habituate. There are things that you need to do, train yourself to do so that you get the kind of life that you want. So what could that look like, right? Well, there are certain habits that it would be good to get into, like the habit of being grateful. Imagine how your life would be different if you developed the habit of always feeling grateful. Pretty good, huh? Now, again, that's not a bad habit. In fact, it's a habit that would serve you very well and something that you probably should consider, right? So don't think about habits necessarily as something that are bad, because developing and maintaining certain habits are good. Okay. And so, again, let's go through and think about some different situations, because again, I don't want you to say, oh, well, I can't have a habit because habits are bad things. Habits are things like biting your nails or smoking or getting angry and punching things. Okay, those are activities that probably are not the best to do. But again, you have to ask the question, does it serve me or not? Right. And so, think about, again, instead of saying it's a bad habit or it's a good habit, is it a habit that will serve me? So, for example, if you have a goal of running a marathon, it would probably be a good idea to get in the habit of running every single day. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with having a habit of running every single day. In fact, it's a habit that you would need to have in order to accomplish that bigger goal that you're trying to get to. So, are habits good or bad? Well, they're neither. Okay. There are either habits that no longer serve you, or there are habits that do serve you. And so, take a look, see what things you do habitually. Are you habitually feeling anxious? Well, having a habit of being anxious probably doesn't serve you. So, would it be better to replace that with another habit that does serve you? Like, I feel at peace, right? And a lot of the things, like I talked about before, I used the example before of being grateful, okay? Because there's a lot of people that aren't grateful. And how much better would your life be if you could establish a habit of certain behaviors? So think about some of the behaviors that would probably best serve you: to be loving, to be grateful, to be consistent, to be confident, right? Those are all things probably would be a good idea to establish a habit around those things. So again, habits are neither good nor bad. There's either habits that no longer serve you. So, for example, if you've done something for a long time, it served you well, but it no longer is helping you get where you want to go, probably time to stop that habit and instead replace it with some sort of habit that is going to benefit you and get you to where you want to be. So, why am I talking about that? Because on actually both podcasts that I have, the Fire and Earth podcast and Jamming with Jason, we've been talking about some of the habits that successful and confident people have. And again, they're things that you probably wouldn't even think about, but they are so important because, in fact, everybody who's successful and confident tends to follow or have established some of these habits. So if you haven't checked that out already, the easiest way to find it is on my website, jasonmefford.com/jamming with Jason. All of the episodes are out there. You can find those and you can actually go out and see what are some of the habits that you would need to develop if you want to feel more confident and you want to have more success in your life. So with that, I'm going to cut out of here a little bit earlier than I normally do today because it's a long weekend here in the United States. So we have Labor Day on Monday, and I'm going to take off a little early today on Friday because I can, right? So with that, I will leave you with those thoughts, and I'll catch you on another live. Have a great weekend, and stay safe. Establish the habits that are going to treat you well and get you what you want in your life.